Hello, my name is Jordan Schutz and I work at MuleSoft as a developer advocate. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing off how you can apply client ID enforcement to your API so that way you can secure your API so that only people with the correct credentials can actually access it and consume it. So let's actually jump into the demo so I can show you how this API works. So we have a phone number as a key and a message as a key. And we also have two headers. We have a client ID and a client secret. This client ID and client secret is defined in API Manager, and this is the client ID enforcement policy that I was talking about earlier in the video. So when we actually click the send button, what we'll notice is that this sends a post request to the Twilio API and actually will send us a text message. And so you can see that we can continue to send text messages and Twilio will keep sending SMS messages our way. However, if we go to the headers section and we remove client secret, and let's say we don't include one of the values that our API is looking for, when we click the send button, our API will block the post request from actually hitting our server and hitting the API, and we'll get a status 401 unauthorized. So this means that this is preventing random people from accessing it because they didn't have the correct credentials to send the post requests. So let's actually jump into API Manager to see how we actually set up this policy and how easy it really is to implement this into your own API. So here we are in API Manager, and you can see here that we have auto discovery. This is our API ID, and under policies, you can see that we actually have a client ID enforcement policy already enacted. So if you don't already have this, to set this up, all you have to do is click the Apply New Policy button, and then you go to Client ID Enforcement, select the version, and then click Configure Policy. When you do that, it'll actually generate an API specification snippet, and this snippet will generate both RAML or OAS code, and you can directly copy and paste this directly into API Designer when you're actually developing this API. So when we copy and paste this over into API Designer, we can go to securityscheme.raml, and you can see here that this code matches up with directly what we saw over there. And you can see that on the right-hand side, we have client ID is required and client secret is required. Both of these are defined as headers, and these are both required to access the API. So when we click the publish button and we publish this asset to Exchange, this now will make this API available for anyone in the organization to consume. However, API Manager, when we publish this asset to Exchange and then we start to build the API or the integration behind the API, what we're going to actually have to do is we're going to have to go into Anypoint Studio and we're going to have to set up API Auto Discovery. So with API Auto Discovery, all you have to do is you click the Create button and then you search for Auto Discovery configuration. And in here, what you do is you input your API ID. It's really as simple as that. And when you go to actually right click and you go to Anypoint Platform to deploy to Cloud Hub, what we'll have to do is we'll have to actually include credentials for our environment to basically make sure that it works. So you can see here that we have Anypoint Platform client ID, and then we have our client ID and our client secret listed here under properties on the right. And we can get this environment information, or when we go to Access Management, we can go to Environments, then we can select the environment that we're deploying in, and that will give us our client ID and client secret, which then we input here in Anypoint Studio when we're actually going to deploy. So once we've deployed our application, what we do is we can go back to API Manager, and we can see that we don't have access yet, right? So what we need to do is we need to go to Exchange, and we need to go up to the top right to our asset, and we need to click Request Access. And when we request access, we can select the sandbox, the application, if this instance has any SLA tiers, and click Request Access. And this will give us the client ID and client secret that we need in order to actually send a successful response to our API. But since we've already been issued this client ID and client secret, where we access that is we go back to API Manager, we click on Client Applications, and we click on the application name. And when we click on this application name, we'll see on the right-hand side that we have client ID and client secret here listed on the right. And so as an administrator, this would be the place that, let's say if we need to revoke access to the API, we can do that. So this is how we can control now all the users that are using our API, we can see what their usage is, are they approved or not approved, and we can revoke access at any time. So just like that, it's really that simple to create an API and apply automated policies to that API. And this is a great example of how we created a proxy API with Twilio and how we're able to revoke access and hide our user credentials in our actual Anypoint Studio application. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you want to read more and actually learn how we built the integration out, learned how we build it out in Anypoint Studio and a little bit deeper on actually the API design component of it, please visit developer.mulesoft.com and go to the tutorials page to find this tutorial and read more. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great one. Bye-bye.